Yes, guys, welcome back to more GBFC. It's been a crazy week of football. I'm sorry that I've not been fully up to date this week with doing videos about Arsenal being knocked out the Champions League in the semi-finals. Didn't speak about the Thursday games either. It's Man United versus Tottenham in the Europa League final. In this video, I'm going to talk about this crazy idea right now that if Man United or Spurs, if one of them wins it, which obviously now that's the truth, one of them will win the Europa League. Does that mean they've actually had a better season than Arsenal? I want to talk about Arsenal being knocked out by PSG because Mikel Arteta is throwing up some crazy smoke screens in the post-match interviews about this game by saying that if it wasn't for Donnarumma, then Arsenal would be in the final. Donnarumma was the difference. I think there's a big reality difference here between what's actually happened and what Mikel Arteta is saying. I think PSG are levels above this Arsenal team. I think in terms of the way they attacked, they were better. Defensively, they were better. Donnarumma, yes, was also better. But to say that it was just Gianluigi Donnarumma that was the difference, I think is totally ignorant and oblivious from Mikel Arteta to say that. He's probably trying to protect his players because obviously there's a lot that's going to come Arsenal's way. In the Premier League this season, they've dropped so many points. And I think they need to look at their whole collective right now and not say it's Arteta's fault, not say it's the players' fault. It's very much a fault of the club. Because Arsenal, in the last few seasons, they've been relatively close, but you can't just keep being close. If you want to be taken seriously and you want Arteta's time as the manager to be a serious thing, you can't just win one FA Cup in front of nobody at Wembley during COVID and consider that a success. Because Arsenal are a club that have been suffering without trophies for many years. And that don't bother me as a Chelsea fan. Keep it coming is all I say. But the truth is, they've been close. They've been getting closer. Quarterfinals of the Champions League last year. Semi-finals of the Champions League this year. But the reality has been staring them in the face for years now. They've not had a top striker. Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus are not outright number 9s that go and win you the big trophies. It's as simple as that. And I don't really mind this being the case. I'm a Chelsea fan. I don't want to see Arsenal winning anything. But I think it's pure delusion at this point for Arteta to come out with the pathetic comments post-match, if I'm being real with you. But at the same time, it has to be considered a failure. Because there's only so many, oh, we're close, oh, we're the second best. Like, no one remembers who finishes second. Arsenal remember winning titles under Arsene Wenger in the early 2000s, and they've been disappointed ever since that they've not been able to do it again. So it begs the question now, Manchester United are into yet another final, but Manchester United have had arguably the worst Man United team, the worst Man United season that I can ever remember in my lifetime. And I'm 30 years old, but still, Ruben Amorim, against all the odds really, because against Lyon, they were basically down and out. And they've destroyed Bilbao 7-1 in the semi-finals. And that's no fluke. It's no joke. Man United turned it on. That last 20 minutes, the best 20 minutes of football I've seen from them in years. Like, really. Genuinely was. And Tottenham Hotspur as well. Arsenal's biggest rivals. Their arch nemesis. Even Ange Postecoglou is into a Europa League final. And he always says, I'll win things in my second season, mate. All right, well, maybe he might be about to do that. Whereas Mikel Arteta is yet another season without a trophy. So the question is, and I want to know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. If Man United or Spurs win this trophy, which one of them will, does it mean they've had a better season than Arsenal? And my thoughts on this is a difficult one because I don't think it's unprecedented that you've got two teams competing in a final, particularly from the Premier League, which is the league that I watch the most, to have the 15th and 16th teams in the league competing in a Europa League final to get into the Champions League, where normally you've got to finish 4th, 3rd, 2nd or 1st to get there. That's mental. It's absolutely mental. But you've also got two teams here where ownership problems, fans will look at it and be like, well, we don't spend the money correctly or we don't spend the money at all in a couple of cases. And it's an absolute shit show. Realistically, Man United and Tottenham Hotspur, despite them being in these finals, it's an absolute shambles. Man United should never, ever be in the bottom 5 or 6 in the Premier League. It's mad. It's absolutely bonkers. Tottenham, I mean, look, They never win anything. This club, they don't win anything. It's in their DNA. And I'm going to talk in a minute about who do I want to win this, because I think this is a huge debate. As a Chelsea fan, like Man United or Spurs, I'll give my thoughts in a second. But does it mean that they've had a better season than Arsenal? I'm going to say no, because the Champions League, we've seen it in the last recent matches, right? That Inter Milan-Barcelona game, 13 goals, that is the pinnacle of football. It doesn't get any better than that. And Arsenal, despite being comfortably beaten, in my opinion, by PSG, Arsenal were at that level. They were at that phase. They got to the last four of that tournament, and then they were beaten by a better team. Simple as that. It's a harder competition, significantly more difficult. They've never won it before. Yes, they might not ever win it. Who knows? The Europa League, yeah, Man United and Tottenham, they've been bad in the Premier League this season, but Man United and Spurs will have looked at being in that competition at the start of the year and been like, well, forget what we're going to do in the league, but we should be going far in this tournament. Absolutely, 100%. Man United, they're a Champions League club. Tottenham did get to a Champions League final, but it is what it is. So to say that they've had a better season, it's a hard one, because I'm usually a firm believer that winning silverware is everything. But it's the levels of how low they are. If they'd have finished like 8th or 9th, respectively, instead of 15th or 16th, then I might be like, well, Arsenal not even close to Liverpool. That's the weird thing about it. It's not like Arsenal have been in a title race. Liverpool basically won the league in January. They won the league months ago. So Arsenal have been putting everything on this Champions League, and then they were relying on tactics like Stoke City would have done when they were in the Premier League years ago to beat a phenomenal footballing side in Paris Saint-Germain. Arsenal were not prepared for that Champions League semi-final whatsoever. So I can understand the argument, but my opinion is no. Arsenal have had a better season than both Man United and Tottenham. They should be trying to get to the final in the Europa League, and they certainly should not be where they are in the Premier League table. So, as a Chelsea fan, who do I want to win out of Man United or Tottenham Hotspur? I mean, I'd be lying if I said I want either of them to win. It would be lovely if there was any reason why this game can't go ahead. But I shouldn't say that, because that's insinuating that something bad's going to happen in the world. We don't want that. But I can't ever sit here on this channel, on GBFC, on Instagram, or anywhere. I am never going to sit here and tell you that it's okay for Tottenham Hotspur to win a trophy. I can't. I just simply cannot do it. Manchester United, I've grown up watching them win trophies. My grandfather, who's not here anymore, he was a Manchester United fan, and he wasn't like a massive fan, so to say. Like, Man United were just his club. And I remember when he first passed, right, I went to Chelsea versus Man United at Stamford Bridge, and Rashford scored a late winner, and it was just a couple of days after that, and I was like, you know what, I'll give him that. So Manchester United, for me, you know, I still obviously don't like them personally, but due to family ties, I'd much rather they won it than Tottenham Hotspur. You're never going to catch me, ever, on anything saying I want Tottenham to win a trophy. And no matter who they're playing against, if it's Tottenham and Arsenal, even I'm saying I want Arsenal to win, just because I've seen them win trophies before. I like having Spurs not won anything for so long. It gives me ammunition. It gives me fuel behind this fire of like, Tottenham are rubbish, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's where I stand on everything. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Chelsea in the final. We got Real Betis in the Conference League. I think that is about as tricky as you can get. I think Chelsea and Betis are by far the two strongest sides in the entire competition. But who do I think's actually going to win the Europa League final? I think Man United. I think they will have that know-how in finals to be able to get the job done. As for the Champions League, PSG, Inter Milan, this is ridiculously tough to predict, because I thought Barcelona were going to beat Inter Milan all day long. But Simone Inzaghi has got Inter Milan playing some incredible football. They're defensively solid, ironically, despite conceding 6 goals in those 2 games against Barcelona. I think it's destiny that Inter Milan actually win the trophy this year. So my prediction for all 3 of the European finals are Inter Milan to beat PSG, Man United to beat Tottenham, Chelsea to beat Real Betis. That's what I think is going to happen. Let me know your thoughts on this. We've obviously got Premier League football this weekend. I will be covering the Premier League football this weekend, so make sure you are subscribed to more GBFC, smack a like on this video if you did enjoy it, and I will see you guys tomorrow.